In today's economy, every single business is in a kind of pressure cooker. The heat is always on and it's relentless. But the real secret to survival, it isn't just about working harder. It's about strategically using technology to turn all that pressure into some serious power.
Look, it doesn't matter if you're a tiny startup or a massive corporation. Every single company finds itself at this exact same crossroads. And in a world that's changing this fast, standing still, that's just not an option. It means getting left behind for good.
The stakes really couldn't be higher. It all just boils down to this simple, stark choice: evolve or disappear. You either adapt or you become a footnote in business history. It's that black and white.
So, what's the secret sauce? What really separates the winners from everyone else? Well, it's not about having the flashiest new tech or the most expensive gadgets. The real game changer is how effectively a business uses technology as a strategic tool, especially when the pressure is on.
To really get this, we've got to look at the challenges head on. Just think of the whole business world today as a giant pressure cooker. It's constantly being heated up by these powerful forces, both from the outside and from within.
So we can pretty much boil these forces down into 4 key areas. First up, the competition is more intense than it has ever been. Second, there's this never-ending demand to be more and more efficient internally. Third, you've got the huge opportunities and challenges of globalization. And finally, all of this is happening while you're dealing with constant evolving security risks.
All right, let's dive into that first pressure: competition. Yeah, this is the all-out external battleground where companies are fighting for customers, for market share, and, let's be honest, for their very survival. So how can technology give you that winning edge? A huge part of winning that fight is getting closer to your customers. It's not just about a one-time sale anymore. It's about building a real relationship that actually lasts. So how on earth do you do that in this digital age? Well, one of the most powerful tools out there is something called Customer Relationship Management, or CRM. What these systems do is basically tear down the walls between a company and its customers. They give every employee a complete 360-degree view of every single interaction, which lets them provide that personalized, top-notch service that builds real, lasting loyalty. But it goes way beyond just CRM. It can be a straight-up strategic weapon. For example, you can create high switching costs. Just think about your bank's app. It makes everything so easy that the thought of switching to a new bank just feels like a massive headache, right? That's a switching cost. Or companies can build barriers to entry using their own advanced tech that makes it incredibly hard for new competitors to even get into the game.
And this right here, this shows you why that battle is just a constant cycle. It never, ever ends. It all starts with an innovation, some new idea that gives one company a huge leg up on the competition. But of course, their rivals aren't just sitting around. They learn, they adapt, and pretty soon that amazing innovation becomes a competitive necessity. It's the new baseline that everyone needs just to stay in the game. And then the cycle starts all over again.
Okay, so winning that external battle, that's only half the story. Now we have to turn inward, moving from the competitive battleground to what we can call the efficiency engine. Because it's not enough to outsmart your rivals, you also have to be incredibly lean and effective from the inside out. And what's the biggest killer of efficiency? It's silos. You know what I'm talking about. When your sales team has no idea what the manufacturing team is doing and accounting can't get real-time data from logistics, you are just burning time, money, and opportunities. So what's the fix? Well, it's a type of software called Enterprise Resource Planning, or ERP. This is the sledgehammer that you use to break down those silos. An ERP is basically one big integrated system that connects all the core parts of a business, letting information flow freely and helping the entire company operate like one well-oiled machine. And once you have all that data flowing freely, leaders can use some incredibly powerful tools to make decisions. One of the most common is called what-if analysis. This lets you play around with your business model and ask those crucial questions. What if we boost revenue by 20%? Or what happens if our costs suddenly go up? You get to see the impact on the bottom line instantly. All right, check this out. Here's that exact concept in action. In scenario A, you're looking at a solid profit of $250,000. Not bad. But what if we could bump up that revenue? By modeling that one little change, we see in scenario B that profit jumps all the way to $450,000.
Suddenly, a big strategic goal isn't just a hopeful wish anymore, it's a calculated target. This is how data turns pure guesswork into a concrete plan of attack. Okay, let's tackle the last two pressures together, globalization and security. Because in today's world, if you want to expand your reach globally, you have to build a kind of digital fortress, one that can connect you to the whole world while also protecting you from it.
I mean, the upside of going global, it's absolutely huge. Global networks let a company share information in a heartbeat, trade with customers 24/7, help teams in different countries collaborate seamlessly, and create entirely new ways to make money. And, trust me, this is a huge but, every new connection you make is also a potential weakness. The bigger your network gets, the bigger the target on your back becomes. And we're not talking about small risks here. They're severe, ranging from simple data theft all the way to what's known as cyber terrorism. This isn't just about stealing information. This is about using technology to cause massive, real-world damage and disruption. So, how do you defend that fortress? Well, your first line of defense is a multi-layered security suite. And this isn't just one program. Think of it like layers of armor. It's an integrated system with firewalls, virus protection, and web security, all designed to protect the organization from all sorts of different threats. Okay, this brings us to our final section, and honestly, it might be the most important one. We've talked about all these tools, CRM, ERP, security suites, but tools are totally useless if you don't have a plan. The technology has to be perfectly aligned with the core mission of the business. So before a company spends even $1 on new tech, its leaders have to answer this fundamental question. What is our unique value? What are we offering that no one else is? Are we competing on price? On quality? On innovation? The answer to that question dictates the entire IT strategy. And right after that, you have to ask about scope. Who are our customers? And what exactly are we selling them? Think about it. A company that sells, say, super high-end luxury watches is going to need a totally different tech setup than a global company that sells budget t-shirts. The strategy absolutely has to come first. And you know, all of this leaves us with the ultimate question. The real challenge for today and tomorrow. The pressures we've talked about, they're only getting more intense. So for a future that, let's be honest, none of us can really predict, how will the next wave of leaders master this art of aligning technology with strategy, not just to survive, but to truly win?